Hey, hello, Bob Feick for Steve McCauley again. It's been a little while. I'd like to read something from Acts chapter 9, verses 1 through 5, if I may. Then Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord, went to the high priest and asked letters from him to the synagogues of Damascus, so that if they found any who were of the way, meaning any who were followers of Jesus Christ, whether men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. As he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly a light shone around him from heaven. Then he fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And he said, "Who are you, Lord?" Then the Lord said, "I am Jesus whom you are persecuting. It is hard for you to kick against the goads." You know, one thing I find in this passage, guys, is, if we're not sinning and doing anything wrong, sometimes people will rise up against us. They'll say things about us that we haven't said, blame us for things we haven't done, misrepresent us. And sometimes these things can really hurt. Sometimes people just flat out lie and make up stories because they have an agenda of their own and they're trying to cover up something they've done. I've seen it a lot in churches, and it's very tough. It's difficult, it's painful, and it's hard. But one thing I've come to learn in reading this passage is when we change our perspective, then it's no longer us being persecuted, because Jesus says, "Saul, why are you persecuting me?" Although he was going after Jesus' people, Christ's people, really the target was Jesus Christ. And so when we learn that we are not the target ourselves, but he is, that the enemy is rising up against Christ, that trial becomes a little bit more bearable. It becomes easier to endure. And although it's not fun, although it's painful, if we accept it, we can endure it, and we can endure it to the point of getting beyond it, and then we grow from it. Well, what about the second part of this? Why are you kicking against the goad? Or it's hard for you to kick against the goads, meaning you're fighting against Jesus. Well, what happens if God allows you and me to go through this stuff to where we're fighting against the Lord himself? Saul was fighting against the Lord, and we have the opportunity when we go through things to kick and fight and scream too. I have found that as we learn to embrace the situation, in the military or the Navy SEALs term, they call it embracing the suck. Hope you're not offended by that, guys, but we're going to go through hard times. We're going to go through trials. We're going to be broken, and it's only to make us stronger and to build us up and make us better. If we resist, it becomes harder. If we just allow God to have his way and we go through it, it becomes much, much easier and much better. And as a result, we become better, stronger, more bold in our faith, able to withstand the temptations and the trials and the happenings that the enemy throws our way. So I have found personally to embrace that which what the Lord allows, even though it's not pleasant. And as I do learn to embrace what's not pleasant, guess what? I become better, and we all become more mature in the things of Christ. I hope that helps. God bless you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.